Hey guys, sorry 1 second, just adjust the camera. Right, okay, hopefully that will stay there. So, this is going to be a how I told my parents sort of thing, as I have time. Trying to think, where to start. So, I suppose we'll go from when I found out. So, I can't remember the exact dates or anything. I should really, shouldn't I? Sorry, I'm just trying to think. So, basically, when I was meant to have my period, my last period was 24th of July. So, when I was meant to have my next period, obviously I didn't have one. And obviously, I always tell Jake that sort of thing anyway. So I said to him, oh, this is sort of a few days afterwards. Obviously I said, I haven't had my period yet. And he was just like, well, maybe you should do a test. So I said, well, I think it's best to leave it for longer, just so you get either an accurate or an accurate result. And I didn't really in myself want to do one because I kind of already knew that it was going to be positive. I don't know how I would know that. It's just, I don't know whether anyone else sort of had that. You just sort of knew. I don't know. I already knew basically, and I just kept putting it off. And when I was around his on a Saturday, it was Saturday, and then that was exactly 2 weeks late on my period. So that was pretty bad. 2 weeks. Definitely. And he was like, right, you definitely have to get a test now. So we went over to the chemist and he bought a test. You get 2 in there. He said, well, you need to do this. I said, well, I'll do it tomorrow morning, because I thought you had to do them in the morning, because they always say to do that. So yeah, I said I'll do that tomorrow morning. He was like, okay, well, tell me afterwards. And then that's fine. So I went home, everything was fine. And the next morning, did I do it that morning? I can't remember whether I actually did it that weekend or not. I kept putting it off, but I think I did, yeah. So I did it Sunday morning. I woke up quite early because I really needed the toilet. I did it and left it there. Waited a while. This is quite early in the morning, like 8 or 9 in the morning, or earlier. And I looked and it said positive, or it came up with was it the line one? Yeah, the line one, not a plus or a minus, it was the lines. It had 2 lines, so I was like, okay. So I checked it again and I was like, okay, that definitely means positive, that means definitely. So I was just sitting there and I was just really shocked. I was just sitting there in shock, sort of. Even though I sort of already knew in myself I was, because I've never been ever in my life 2 weeks late on a period. I've been a few days before, which is normal, I don't know. And I just thought, like a few days I always panic, but this was 2 weeks, so I sort of already knew, well, 2 weeks is pretty bad. So I was just sitting there for a while and I was like, okay. And then I just thought, well, I best tell my mum anyway. I wasn't going to hide it from her. So I went upstairs and I just opened the door and I was like, Mum. And she was asleep. She was hungover, which is obviously not a good thing. I didn't know that. She was like, because, oh, what is it? And I just sat down and I said, I think I'm pregnant. And she looked at me and she was like, right. She didn't really know. She wasn't really that talkative because she was hungover. But I just showed her the test and she was like, right, well, that definitely means you're pregnant, doesn't it? Because it's two lines. And I was like, yeah, well, I just kept saying, oh, well, it might not be, even though I knew it was. And I just left it at that, pretty much. And then I did another one, I think the next day, or the same day even. I did the one the same day, and I did it in the evening. It was sort of about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and it came up straight away, positive again. The first time I did it, it came up straight away as well. It wasn't even waiting. In fact, the line that tells you you're pregnant came up before the one that showed you that it actually worked, which means my levels were quite high. So straight away it came back up, so I was like, great. So she sort of just talked to me and said, well, you know, what do you want to do, and all this sort of thing. So I first of all said, well, I'm keeping it. And she's like, well, you could think about, she didn't want to make me choose, abortion and things, but she was like, well, there is other options. I said, yeah, I know, but I just personally would never do that. I could never actually bring myself to abort a baby. I just think it's wrong. But I know some people have other reasons why they do it. But I knew from that start that that was it, really. So obviously that evening I phoned Jake. I think I phoned him. Yeah, I phoned him. And we were just having a normal conversation, because I think he was sort of hoping I wasn't, because he didn't really mention it at all until he was like, oh, we have to talk about then. Sorry, my dog's making some weird noise. So he didn't really ask or anything, and I was like, oh yeah, and about the pregnancy test, and he's like, oh yeah, like, because he didn't really want to know the answer, and I was like, yeah, well, it came back that I'm pregnant, and he's like, right, and then I was like, yeah, I did 2 tests, and they both said the same thing. He didn't really say much, and he's like, right, okay, and then that's pretty much it. He wasn't angry or anything. So yeah, that was that. So that was that, and then basically I kept it from everyone until I was about a few weeks. When was it? I was about 9-10 weeks. I told my college when I was about 9 weeks. And so yeah. And I didn't tell my dad until, I can't remember how many weeks I was. I don't know the exact weeks, but I left that for a while, because, not because he'll be angry, but because my dad's the one who is more the one to worry about, really. Mum's more understanding. He was anyway, but I got my mum to tell him, basically. He's fine about it now, and he's all happy, but... So they were both, like, really supportive. They were never angry at me or anything. Mum just said, basically, she keeps just saying, well, you know, it's you decided to get pregnant. Well, it's not like I did it on purpose, but she said, well, it's your decision and your decision to keep it, so now you have to deal with, you know, what comes afterwards. So I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. And so that's really what happened. We didn't tell the rest of my family until, I think I must have been 12 weeks. No, they knew before that. A few weeks before my 12 weeks began. I didn't really want to tell them too early in case I sort of jinxed it, you know, something bad happened, but that was all fine. So everyone knows now, everyone in the family knows. So yeah, that's pretty much how I told them. It was kind of awkward the first time my dad came round, because dads are more awkward anyway. Like, I don't talk to my dad about periods and things. It's always my mum. So it's more easier to talk to my mum. He said, obviously, you don't have to talk to me about all of the stuff. You don't want to. So, but you know, they're both supportive and everything. That's pretty much it, how I told him. It's not really exciting, but yeah. Let me just check. I'm going to have to go. Oh, it's not going to stay up. It's full. Right, there we go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, if any of you have any questions or something, then obviously you can ask questions. I might have forgotten stuff, but that's basically the whole idea of how I told them. And everything's fine now. Obviously no one in my family judges me or anything, but people that aren't, like, just random people in the street always tend to judge you. Like, I always get evil looks from certain people sometimes. I did anyway, but it's even worse now. But I just think, you know, they don't know your situation, they don't know anything about you, so it doesn't really bother me. So yeah, that's it, and I'll be doing my 19-week video next. So I'll speak to you guys then. Bye!